The pop of the champagne cork. The shimmer of tinsel gliding gracefully to the earth. The sound of Dick Clark slowly climbing into his own grave. Yes, it's a new year, Rageaholics. You see, last year, to kick off 2010, I made a countdown of the top 5 things the game industry must remedy in the year ahead in order to right the ship. And I know what you're thinking. RazörFist, the game industry's raking in more cash than Hollywood annually. The ship isn't exactly sinking. Yeah, well, tell that to Square Enix's record low profits and resultant delays. Tell that to the plummeting sales numbers for franchises like Splinter Cell, Medal of Honor, and yes, even titans of the industry like Final Fantasy. We've hit a fucking iceberg for sure, so you can either hang out in your cabin exchanging bad acting with Kate Winslet's cans, or you can take the wheel and fix this shit. What follows are my proposals for how the industry can do just that. So sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy my 2011 New Year's gaming resolution countdown.
Number 5. Stop putting zombies in everything, please.
I've mentioned this in passing in previous videos, but zombies are popping up with roughly the frequency of Everybody Loves Raymond reruns. Even if it was cool at one point, it's teetering precariously on the same overwrought commercial precipice made famous by the rock band Guitar Hero phenomenon around early 2008, when they started releasing a new music game every other month, even as sales of each game were being halved between installments. Even if you like the zombie phenomenon, I'm telling you this for your own good. Quit now while you're ahead. We don't need a zombies mode in the next Mass Effect, for crying in the fucking rain. The lone exception to this rule, of course, is the Resident Evil series. We not only want zombies, we want horror and tension, less backflipping trenchcoat Albert Wesker, and more zombies, creepy Resident Evil music, and environments that are at least somewhat spooky. If you have to carve the entire co-op component from the game, then so fucking be it. Just fix the goddamn series already. RE5 felt more like a John Rambo acid trip than a survival horror game. Make it happen.
Number 4. Stop nickel and diming the consumer.
I'll be touching even more on the subject of downloadable content's inherent drawbacks in a moment, but I want to address something a bit more specific first. Ever played Dragon Age Origins? I have. I fucking loved the game, as you can tell from my review. But you know how on day 1 of the game's release there was not only downloadable content, but DLC so suspiciously well integrated with the overall narrative and world that you know it couldn't possibly have been made after the fact? I'm referring, of course, to the downloadable character of Shale, who, to be fair, was completely free if you bought a copy of Dragon Age New on release day, which is exactly how I got a hold of him. Shim? Memo to BioWare. We aren't fucking dolts. We know you originally put Shale in the game, then in a decision likely made by the money men, had her removed in order to create an incentive to purchase the game at launch, and of course to make a few bucks off the poor schmucks that buy an inordinately scratched copy of the game from GameStop and don't get the free DLC. We're not dumb. We know exactly what you're doing, but unfortunately, this idea is spreading. The Taxidermist, a downloadable chapter of Heavy Rain content, was basically just a chapter of Madison Page's investigation that wasn't quite done when it was time for release. Well, fuck it, said Sony, from the comfort of their high-backed chair replete with a big furry white cat perched on the armrest. We'll just slice that little bit off, give it away free with pre-orders, and charge $15 for it if the other assholes want to partake. It's a dick move. Cut it the fuck out.
Number 3. No more motion controllers, please.
Webster's defines a gimmick as a trick or device to reach some end. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the dictionary definition of a fucking gimmick. Do these motion control devices add anything to the games they're attached to? That's a thunderous fuck no. In fact, in most cases, the inaccuracy and touchiness of said devices is such that it significantly detracts from what might have otherwise been a passable game. Would Call of Duty be improved if you were forced to waggle a Wiimote in order to sit up and fire your weapon while you're bleeding out? Would Elder Scrolls be enhanced by the inclusion of an in-game component that allows you to furiously shake your Move controller to and fro in order to level up your fucking mercantile stat? More to the point, would it make sense for you, halfway through your morning commute to work, to jump out of your car and do a Chinese fire drill? They're useless, they add nothing, and more importantly, you people are wasting money on them. Next.
Number 2. Fix the DLC.
Let me tell you a story. A couple years back, I bought my first Xbox Live arcade game, Golden Axe, a classic Sega Genesis beat-em-up that pretty much everyone's heard of, and one of my favorite video games of all time. I played it online a few times, had a great time with my friends, and after a while, I forgot about it. Then one day, my internet was out. I had nothing to do but play old games, but I didn't feel like hooking my old SNES or Genesis up, so I opted instead to fire up the 360 and play some Golden Axe. That's when the game informed me that I could only play the trial version of Golden Axe, meaning just the first level. Unless, of course, I logged into my Xbox Live account. That's right, Rageaholics. Unless you have non-stop access to an internet connection, the games you purchase on Xbox Live are not actually yours. You'd be better off flushing your money down a toilet. At least then, if you drop a massive turd a bit later and the toilet backs up, there's a distinct possibility you may actually see that $10 again in the near future. Now, as a quick disclaimer, this is not true of all Xbox Live games, and in my experience, it is never true of games purchased from the PlayStation Network, which in my estimation is a massive point in the PS3's favor. But there's even more unpleasant news. We've all heard of the dreaded Ring of Death, and while it seems to have been remedied somewhat in recent years with the 360's failure rate now hovering in the same neighborhood as the PS3 and Wii, the Red Ring of Death is still very much a concern for people who have purchased old 360s or used 360s from GameStop, who, as an ex-employee, I can thoroughly assure you, does not refurbish their 360s in any way, shape, or form, and you will likely be dealing with a red ring in the near future. However, if your system does decide to come down with a red ring of death, and you try to transfer all of your games on your hard drive to the new 360, they will no longer work if those games were created by Sega. That's my game. I paid money for it. I deserve to be able to play it whenever I want, regardless of my internet connectivity. So fix it!
Number 1. Stop treating gamers like they're retards.
Though in fairness, can you blame them? Final Fantasy XIV was met with dismal critical reception and word of mouth stemming from its bugginess and complete absence of originality. And yet it still managed to sell over 500,000 copies, which is proof positive that some anime convention aficionados will literally buy poisonous ape feces wrapped in barbed wire and sculpted into an extended middle finger with an attached sign reading "Fuck you, Baka Gaijin," so long as the name Final Fantasy is proudly displayed on the front packaging somewhere. Of course we're being treated like retards. As gamers, we're cohabitating with people who legitimately fucking are. But if I have to listen to one more developer interview that uses the phrase streamlined as code for dumb the fuck down, I'm going to open fire. The way I see it, the last 2 years in the game industry have been one long, botched lobotomy. From Splinter Cell to Mass Effect to even once cerebral PC experiences like Civilization V, the consistent message being communicated is, you're too dumb to get this, here, let me get it down for you. Where is this coming from? Why are these developers straying from what in some cases were already relatively simplistic and successful, might I add, formulas? Was the original Mass Effect really all that complex? It's an RPG mixed with a third-person shooter, with perhaps a bit more RPG than shooter in the first installment, but hey, it was also one of the best-selling games of 2007, which was itself a huge year for gaming, so why are you fixing what is not broken? Or more accurately, why are you breaking what doesn't need fixing? Were all the experience points in specific upgrade categories really all that intimidating? Were the Mako segments any more boring than systematically scanning every inch of a planet with a radar that, kinetically speaking, lies somewhere between sloth on sleeping pills and corpse walking backward? But perhaps Mass Effect 2 is a poor example, because it sold better than the first game. What about Splinter Cell? You follow up a critical and commercial success like Double Agent with a laughably poor, and here's that word again, streamlined action stealth game that dispenses with almost everything that made the series great to begin with? What prompted that decision? You already had one of the best-selling stealth franchises to begin with. Now you've turned it into the Bourne Identity and we're supposed to be cool with that? Well, look at the sales numbers, and the reviews, and this middle finger right here. We fucking aren't cool with that. And they expect us to let them get away with that without complaint. Just look at the increase in forum bans across the board at once community-centric sites like BioWare and Ubisoft. You want us to shut up? It doesn't work that way, asshole. You shut my mouth, and my fucking wallet shuts with it. I'm not the asshole because I itemized my complaints in an anti-Mass Effect 2 diatribe. You're the asshole for silencing dissenting opinions. Funny, I didn't realize they made jackboots in plus sizes. But I've got to reel in the rage, or I'll wind up flying to Canada and taking Jade Raymond hostage. And in all likelihood, it would involve more actual stealth than the latest Assassin's Creed game. I hope you bastards enjoyed the countdown, and until next year, I offer a fervent good luck. And God fucking speed.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!